Harbin East coming back at you for another edition of the Section YY8 podcast. On this week's show, bowl game announcement. Tennessee's got a destination for a bowl game. Football recruiting, that was a big topic of discussion earlier in the week. And Tennessee basketball, they've hit a little rough patch here in the early slate of the season. It's no longer November, so we'll ask Harb here in a second if we should overreact anymore or not, since it's not November anymore, but we'll get to that here later. So, Harb, what do you want to do first? Recruiting or the bowl matchup? What do you think?
Let's at least start on something interesting.
As I say, one topic was more uplifting than the other, I think, this week.
Yeah, yeah. Let's do recruiting.
Okay. Tennessee football recruiting. Big week this week on when was that? Wednesday? This week's been a blur. I think it was Wednesday.
Tuesday.
Tuesday or Wednesday. It's one day. It was one day this week. I
Yeah,
guess you could say. It was one of those days that ended in Y.
it happened.
Yeah. I think it happened. No, a good day for Tennessee overall on the recruiting trail. I haven't looked the past few days for any updates, but as of middle of the week after the dust had settled for the most part, I think Tennessee on most sites were number seven nationally, number 3 to 5 in the conference, SEC. There was one site that earlier on signing day had Tennessee as number two. I never could find that. I was told that. I don't know how true that was, but wherever you look, Tennessee was nationally between number 5 and number 7. It kind of moved around throughout the day I think we were 5 at one point and we may have dropped just a tad when the wide receiver from Utah decided to switch up his commitment from Utah to Tennessee. But overall, it was Josh Heupel's best recruiting class as Tennessee's head coach. I think it was what the fans wanted to see, obviously, after the loss to Vanderbilt um, last week. But I think it shows. I mean, we've known this class was going to be good. I mean, it's been projected for a while. It started 2 summers ago with the commitment of Faison Brandon at quarterback. By some sites, he's the number one overall quarterback. 5 star, or at least one of the top 2 or 3. I think ESPN actually had him as a 4 star, but everybody else had him as a 5 star. But regardless, he was the cornerstone of the class, and this class overall addressed a lot of needs. You got some playmakers on both sides of the football at wide receiver. It looks like they really went in on some defensive linemen, but trying to build up depth. That's what we've been talking about on here. And I guess we're in the waiting game to see now who leaves into the portal and who do we pick up from the portal. But thoughts on the recruiting class?
Recruiting class was good. Um, got some high profile guys. Kept the core that we were looking at for the most part. We lost the Solosi Moa.
Solosi Moa, the wide receiver from Utah.
Yeah, he got paid an extra $1 million to stay home. Can't necessarily argue with that one. Um, the Legend Bay stuff is interesting. I'm sure we're gonna have to touch that. So Legend Bay was originally he's a 5 star athlete and originally committed to UT, and then committed to Ohio State like a month ago, I think.
Yeah, it was a month and a half ago.
And then the day before National Signing Day, Brian Hartline, Ohio State's offensive coordinator, accepts the South Florida position, and Legend Bay unexpectedly signs with the University of Tennessee, which at the time was huge. Since then, there's been some developments with that, and essentially, what I've put together is his mother and his older brother absolutely did not want him to go to Ohio State. They wanted him to come here, but he wanted to go to Ohio State. However, since he's not 18 yet, and you got to have parental guidance or supervision, whatever term you want to use, to sign your national letter of intent. Allegedly, she was like, "You're not signing it to Ohio State." And the way he's kind of depicting this is he signed here against his will. They made him do it, and he doesn't want to be here. So I'm sure there's more to it than that. But surface level, if the kid don't want to be here, don't make him come here. Like, just let him go. We don't, for one, we don't need all that going on anyway. We just wiped our hands clean of crazy families.
Two of them. I
Yeah,
don't. I don't want another one in here.
I do not want another one either. He's a hell of a player. I hope nothing but the best for him, but it seems as if it'd probably be best if he did not come here. Um, so, but yeah, I'm pulling for him regardless. Seems like a pretty good kid. He's a hell of a ball player. Just kind of one of those weird, unfortunate things.
Yeah, I was trying to look him up.
And it will suck if the reason Solosi Moa stayed at Utah was because Legend Bay signed. It'll suck missing out on both of them, but
Yeah.
either way, you got Tristan Keys and a couple others. Um, I think the wide receiver class is still going to be okay, even without those guys. It'd be nice to have at least one of them, but it is what it is.
You got Tristan Keys and Tyreek King. I mean, they're both highly rated. I mean, King was a 4 star. Keys was 5 star, number one player according to some sites at his position, number two. He's out of Hattiesburg, Mississippi. Um, you got I mentioned some of the others. You know, Tennessee. I think by all intents and purposes, what we've seen, they need to get better up the middle on the defensive side. Joel White, safety out of Murfreesboro, was a big pickup for him. They got a linebacker, 4 star, TJ White out of Jackson, Mississippi. But you mentioned Legend Bay. He's a 4 star athlete out of Texas. Um, I that story was so weird, hard because he basically, the way I understand it, he showed up to his signing day ceremony or whatever you want to call it, it's surrounded by garnet and gold, or garnet and gold, garnet and silver and red, whatever that color that Ohio State is, and announced there that he was going to Tennessee. And he did sign, but his mama had to sign too because, like you said, he's not over the age of 18. So I don't know what this means. Like, are they going to let him go, or are they just going to let him enter? Will he enter the portal in January? Because I think he can do that. Um, I don't know. It kind of stinks though. I didn't even think about this, but like you said, the Slowy Moa not coming here, was that, did that factor in Legend Bay coming here? I know Legend Bay is not technically a wide receiver, but he's one of those kids. He played quarterback, he was punt returner, he played wide receiver. I think he played everywhere except probably offensive or defensive line on the field. So that could have possibly played into that. I think Utah just paid him. I think the Mormons out there got him some more money. So, but overall, good class. I think it addressed a lot of needs. Now the attention will turn to one, what does Josh Heupel and his staff do in the transfer portal? Because I think there's some immediate needs, defensive line that they need to address, probably linebacker as well. Because these guys coming in, yeah, they're highly rated, but they're freshmen. I mean, they're 18 years old. So, I mean, those are positions that are tough to just come in right away unless you're a special talent and just make an impact. So we'll see what they do in the portal, who leaves from Tennessee. We'll talk about the bowl game in a minute, but the bowl game will happen before the portal officially opens. But how many guys opt out of the bowl game because they plan on entering the portal? Something to watch over the next 2 to 3 weeks. I don't know. It's going to be interesting to watch. I said two things. One, um, the second thing was are there any coaching changes on this staff coming up? I know that's been the big topic over the last week and a half or 2 weeks. Well, no, a week and a half now since the Vandy loss is will Josh Heupel make any staff changes? What are those changes if he does? Is it defensive coordinator? Is it, any other position? We haven't seen that yet. I wasn't expecting anything to happen before signing day. Now that signing day's come and gone, does he do that now? You're seeing a few staff changes at programs, Power Four programs across the country. Um, One of the weirder ones is Virginia Tech hiring Brent Keys as the defensive coordinator, who was just fired as head coach at Virginia Tech, and Zach Arnett, who was fired as Mississippi State's head coach a couple years ago, is back as their defensive coordinator. So I guess you can go home again. But I don't know where. I don't know. Do you think Josh Heupel makes any staff changes? The longer it drags out, the
He
less
better.
confidence I have in it. But
He
I,
better.
I just can't imagine that they just sit by and do nothing.
Yeah, you've got to make at least a change to make it look like you're trying to switch something up. I figured we would potentially wait till after National Signing Day to that way you don't risk losing anybody or whatnot. And like you said, the every day that goes by, it's like, okay, what are we doing? And I don't know. I still don't see a scenario where we just don't do anything. And if we do, there's going to be some pissed off rednecks. And
There's a lot of them already, but we'll get to
right,
that later.
right, but they're mad with the expectation that we're going to make a change. And if you don't, I don't know. That just pretty much tells me you're perfectly content with going 8-4 and letting Vandy hang 45 on you. Just point blank, period. Whether you're good with it or not, the literal definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. You got to change something.
Yeah. One good thing, and I mentioned this last week, before we move on to the bowl game, is I had a fear that Rodney Garner might be pursued by Auburn, which is where he's, a graduate of. But Alex Golish went a different direction. So good news on for us is we don't lose probably the best defensive line coach in the country. That was one position we do not need to change. Um, there's been talk of offensive coordinator. Look, I'm not the biggest Joey Halsey fan, but I'm not sure what the optics would look like if you fire an offensive coordinator who has the fourth best offense in the country. I I don't know what that says to everybody else. I mean, it might send a message out there that we're super serious and whatever we were doing this year wasn't good enough. And let's be honest, I thought the offense was very good this year. Also, considering that your quarterback didn't show up to campus until June. So, for what we were dealt with, what we had to deal with, I thought the offense was pretty good this year. Yeah, they left some stuff out on the field, not converting some third downs, some of the play calling, after turnovers and in some short yardage situations was a little head scratching. But when you look at the overall picture, you got a quarterback who's has a good day in the bowl game. He's going to throw for over 4,000 yards this year. So it's I don't think that he would make any changes on the offensive side of the ball. I think it's on the defensive side because that's been the bugaboo for this program since Heupel's been here. They've just not. You look at every year. Last year was the outlier, but they've just been mediocre at best on the defensive side of the football. But I don't see how he doesn't make a change somewhere. I was reading up on it the other day, Harb. Several of these coaches, and I don't know which ones it is, but a lot of contracts expire at the end of the year. So is he waiting? And I don't think Tim Banks is one of those, but there's several staff members that contracts just expire after December 31st. So I don't know if he's waiting for that to happen and just not renewing, it's like, hey, we're not going to renew your contract and we're going to hire somebody else, which is not technically firing someone. You're just not re-signing them. But maybe he's waiting on that. I don't know. But I feel like every day, every hour and day that goes by, you're already starting to see it on social media when somebody hires or fires a coach, a coordinator or assistant type coach, and they hire somebody else. You're already seeing the rumblings. Oh, well, they can do it. Tennessee can't. So it's it's just like every hour, every day that goes by, the rumblings are going to get louder and louder until they do something. And if they don't do something, I don't know what the opinion's going to be of this staff going into the full off season after the bowl game, but it won't be good. It won't be good. Well, of Josh Heupel, to be honest, I don't know what they do. I don't know what they. We said it last week. I don't know what the answer is. I got asked a couple times this week, like, what does Tennessee need to do? I was like, I don't know. Like, is it personnel changes? Is it staff changes? Is it philosophy change? That's things they got to look at this offseason. It's not just we got to fire the defensive coordinator. I think it's deeper than that. But they're so close, Harb, I think, to making that next step. They just got to figure out how to do it. And
Yeah.
that's a lot of the questions they got to answer this offseason.
So let me run a hypothetical by you.
Hypothetical,
Ooh,
thetical.
a hypothetical.
Woohoo!
New segment. New segment. Here's your hypothetical. Mark Stoops, DC.
Ooh. I've
And
seen that floated around.
one of the reason I say that, Kentucky may or may not have drawn up the worst contract of all time. I don't know if you've seen the ins and outs of his contract.
I
When
have
they
not.
fired him, his buyout was $37.7 million. It's a lot.
It's a lot of moolah.
And on the surface level, you're like, well, why the hell would you buy him out to be a coordinator? This doesn't go for Tennessee. This goes for anybody. I think he'd make a very good defensive coordinator somewhere if that's what he wants to do. In the clause, Kentucky has to pay the $37.7 million in full within 30 or 60 days. I can't remember. 30 or 60 days of termination. They got to pay a lump sum within a month or two. So I would assume once Mark Stoops gets paid, there's going to be a lot of people knocking on his door because they don't have a full buyout. I wonder if that may or may not be
Maybe.
a little nugget there. Because
I mean, if you
how
look
long do
at
you
it,
want to go coordinatorless?
is there any head coaching gigs out there for him? I don't think there are.
I mean, how old is Mark Stoops?
I mean, he's got to be in his what, late 50s or 60s, something like that. I have no idea.
The only job openings that would want him would be a downgrade from Kentucky.
Oh, absolutely.
And why the hell would he want to go to like I don't know, the Mac or somewhere like that?
He's 58.
Yeah, I mean, you can't see him going to Tulane or Memphis or North Texas or somewhere like that. I think it's a coordinator. And I think in the realistic realm of possibilities, that'd be a home run situation for defensive coordinator.
Absolutely, because people would gravitate. I mean, they know that name, and he was a
Mm-hmm.
successful defensive coordinator. And I think he was a successful head coach. I know it didn't end well at Kentucky, but look what he did there. They had probably the best stretch in their school's history.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I think that name would draw a lot of interest and it would keep recruits interested. And I think from a play calling standpoint, it would probably be an upgrade, I would assume, from what we've got right now.
I don't know if it could get any worse as far as
Well, it can't.
scheming and play calling goes.
It can't, but That's something to keep your eye out for. I didn't know his buyout was structured like that. That's interesting.
It's extremely interesting, and I think, well, like I said, when that 30 or 60 days is over with, I think a lot of people are going to be knocking on his door.
What's Kentucky going to do? So they got to pay him, what was it, 36, 37 million, you
I think
said?
it's 37 and some
What are they
change.
going to do when they fire Pope here, here in a little bit? If they keep playing like that, they're going to bankrupt. Those two coaches are going to bankrupt Kentucky because that dude's owed like I think I read today. If they bought him out right now, it's like $58 million or something like that. Some just insane amount of money.
They're not going to fire
I
him.
mean, they're not, but
That's a
I
lot.
mean,
That's a lot of money, though.
that is that not we're not going to talk about Kentucky basketball in here, but that program is in a disarray right now. Not only on the court, but some of the comments I've seen from Mark Pope after they lost to Gonzaga the other night, like it's getting off the rails in a hurry up there. Um, I imagine that's what Alabama would be like if they ever really went off the rails in football. Kind of what is happening in Lexington right now. But yeah, we'll see. I don't know what Tennessee does. Hopefully, something, anything. It's like Mr. Shirley in Christmas Vacation. Get me somebody, anybody, and get me somebody while I'm waiting. I will see what Tennessee does. Who knows? Um, Tennessee football, Harb, it's still season not technically over, but the regular season's over, but still a big topic of conversation. The bowl assignments came out today, and the Vols got sent to Nashville for the Music City Bowl. When is that? December 30th on ESPN versus Illinois. And I didn't know this, Harb. I was looking it up this afternoon. I typed in Tennessee versus Illinois football history. There is none. We have never played them in football before. So that's kind of cool, I guess, if you want to look at it that way. Like, okay, we're playing a team we've never played before. I was getting really nervous this morning. I was like seeing projections of us playing Iowa in the ReliaQuest Bowl, and I'm like, I don't want to play Iowa again. I just like I'm tired. We played them two times the past decade in a bowl game. We blew them out both times. I just don't want to play Iowa. What do you think about the Music City Bowl versus the Fighting Illini?
Gross.
It seems to
Fine.
be the consensus among Vol Nation.
Like you could, this could not possibly get me out of my seat less. And I mean, you earned it. You did earn it. You can't really be mad at it. You don't want to play in Music City. You don't lose by 3 touchdowns to Vanderbilt, or you don't squander against Oklahoma. We've went through this 100 times. You're here. It was chicken shit. I mean, I guarantee they had a little smirk on their face. And they're like, "Oh yeah, here we go. We're gonna send their ass down I-40 West." Um, I don't know. I feel like it's gonna sound dumb because you're 8-4, but I feel like this is a can't lose. I feel like the tasting will depend on who all plays for both teams, obviously.
I was about to say that makes a difference because, like we mentioned a minute ago, like we don't know who's going to opt out. I mean, does Joey Aguilar? I don't think he'll opt out, but say he opted out, that changes the whole dynamic of Tennessee's offense.
Oh yeah,
Um,
we send Merklinger out there. They need to put that shit on at 7 a.m. on PBS.
I wouldn't even buy that on pay-per-view.
Hell,
It'd be on one of
I
the
want
over
to watch it for free.
it'd be on one of the over the air channels, like on uh just your basic over the air antenna that you plug up to your TV. You don't even need to subscribe to a TV subscriber to watch that game, if that's the case.
They're gonna have it on the Roku channel.
Yeah. I was looking up Illinois, Harb. They were 8-4 also, 5-4 in the Big Ten, but
That an interesting year.
yeah, I mean, an improvement under Brett Bielema, former Arkansas coach, former Wisconsin coach, had a lot of success at Wisconsin, not so much at at God, Arkansas, but they really didn't beat anybody this year, to be honest. I mean, you look at their schedule, I'm trying to pull it up here as my computer will not work. I mean, they lost to Washington, they beat Maryland, they beat Northwestern, they lost to Wisconsin by 3 scores, beat Rutgers, lost to Ohio State pretty badly. They beat USC by 2 early in the season. I guess that was an impressive win. Why can't I just find their schedule? Um, I mean, beat Purdue. I mean, got hammered by 53 by Indiana. They did beat Duke 45-19 early in the season at Duke, ACC champs. Again, I don't know what to make of them. I mean, they're an okay Big Ten team versus a mid SEC team. I mean, that's what we called Tennessee last week when we did our rankings. They're just mid. And Josh Walker texted me earlier today and said, "This is a slap in the face that we're going to the Music City Bowl." And I was like, why? We're 8-4 with no impressive wins at all on our schedule. I think last week we had no wins over bowl eligible teams, but there's so many teams opting out of these non-playoff games that now we do have one over Mississippi State. They're 5-7 and going to the I don't know what bowl they're going to. I mentioned it a minute ago, didn't I? They're playing somebody. Mississippi State is.
Duke's Mayo.
Dude's Mayo Bowl.
Dude.
They're going to the Dude's Mayo Bowl over in Charlotte because there's other teams opting out. There was nobody else. They're having to dig down to the 5-7 teams that aren't technically bowl eligible. So, um, Harb, I don't know how to feel about this. Like, part of me wants to sit here and like F it. I don't care. I'm tired of this season. It's over. But the other half looks at it as it's an opportunity to go play a game on national television against a Power Four opponent and get some of these players some reps that they probably wouldn't get otherwise if we didn't go play. So, I mean, there's a small percentage of Tennessee fans out there that are saying we just need to opt out. Who cares? And I get that. But again, that's kind of going back to what I said last week. That's just, to me, and this isn't an attack on anybody, that's just kind of loser mentality to me. To just give up and not, I mean, you got another chance to go play a football game and represent the University of Tennessee, maybe make a little money for the school and yourself and show out one more time in the season and try to pick up your ninth win. I know nobody cares about that. We went 8-4. I get that, but I don't know. I'm kind of mixed on it, Harb. Somebody that texted me earlier this afternoon and said, "Are you going?" And I was like, I really have no desire to go to this game and spend money on it. This person lives in Nashville that asked me that, and they're like, "Well, if you come out here, you got a free place to stay." And I was like, I would go if tickets were reasonable, but I have a feeling in today's world that tickets to any sporting event aren't reasonable anymore. I know a lot of people like to crap on Tennessee for pricing out the common fan, but look at any sporting event. It's not cheap to go to anywhere anymore unless you go to a minor league baseball game. And some of those aren't even cheap. But I don't know, Harb. It just doesn't do it. This game doesn't do anything for me. I'll watch it, hoping the Vols win. I see they're 8.5 point favorites early, but it just doesn't move the needle for me at all. It's just another game, honestly.
Yeah. I don't know. For pride reasons, you have to win. Maybe that's my pea brain because bowl games don't mean anything anymore. But it's really hard to roll into next year coming off a 21-point loss to Vanderbilt and then getting rolled up in the Music City Bowl by Illinois. Just personal opinion.
It would leave a bad taste in a lot of people's mouths, including mine.
Yeah, I mean we've already got a bad taste in our mouth, and I don't know if a good solid win really changes much of that, but it's definitely better than the alternative. Just go out there, finish strong. I mean, I'd bet you $100 Chris Brazzell will not be playing. So he'll be out. I don't know if Star Thomas will play either. I don't know if that.
I don't know. It's hard to tell. I think this is the
I'd say a
best
lot of the
case.
seniors won't play or draft eligible guys.
I think it's the best case scenario bowl games wise, besides going to Florida, because the other option, I think, some projections had us going to the Dudes Mayo Bowl, and that's after the or the day of the portal opening. January 2nd. Like, I don't think Tennessee coaches or anybody else associated with the program wanted to be distracted by playing a bowl game in downtown Charlotte on January 2nd when the portal opens. I think they need to be focused on the portal more than playing Wake Forest in the Mayo Bowl in front of like 20,000 people. I'm curious to see in Nashville what the attendance is like for both teams. I mean, will Illinois fans travel down? I'm sure there'll be some, but that's not far from Knoxville. Nashville's a big Tennessee base. What is the fan turnout like at Nissan Stadium there in Nashville? I mean,
What time is the game?
4:30 Nashville time on a Tuesday,
So 5:30 here.
5:30 here.
And it's on the 30th.
Yes,
Yeah, I don't know if a Tuesday has much to do with it because
it is the holidays.
so it means New Year's Eve is on a Wednesday this year.
Yes.
Yeah, it falls right smack dab in the middle of the week. Call me crazy. I think it'll be at least like 90% capacity. Which there's a lot of Middle Tennessee fans that'll go just because they're in town, and there will be bukus of people in Nashville for New Year's,
Yeah.
and they might be like, "Oh, we can go see a football game for $40 or whatever." I think it'll be. I think there'll be a good amount of bodies there.
If tickets were $40, I might think about going to that game. If they were 40.
Like 48 hours before kickoff, we might.
Yeah,
So,
maybe. We'll see.
what are they running online right now
I've just seen posts on social media and they were well over $200
for the
for
Music City Bowl?
yeah, for just
No.
different seating locations. I haven't looked. I haven't seen an email from UT about tickets yet, so I don't know. I don't know. I haven't. This game just does nothing for me. And again, I'll watch it. I'll be wearing orange, watching it with the JWTDG crew, hoping for a win and expecting a win. We should beat Illinois. I think we're better than them. I haven't seen the analytics yet on it, but Vegas thinks we're over a touchdown better than them at a neutral site. So, and I think we are better than Illinois. But it goes back to Tennessee executing and doing the little things right, which is happening in another sport, basketball. Not a good 3 game stretch for the Vols. Really, you could say 2.5 game stretch. Lost to Kansas. We talked about it last week. Last 15 minutes of the game, just it's crazy. They played so well against Houston, came out, played really well against Kansas in the first half and the first 5 minutes of the second half. And from that 15-minute mark on in the second half against Kansas, they have played, especially on the offensive end, but I'm not going to let them off easy on the defensive end because they've not been good. They have played bad basketball for the last, 40, 80, 95 minutes of action on the court. It's not been Tennessee basketball under Rick Barnes the last 95 minutes on the court.
No, it's been terrible, and it's been hard. And it's hard to watch. On top of that, um, if Jalen Carey had the flu against Syracuse, we'd have got beat by 25 by a not good Syracuse team. And we still had a couple of shots at winning that game, which is crazy. Um, the Illinois game, I didn't watch it intently. I was out, but that was a shit show. Can't score. We cannot like the offense is stale, stagnant. Correct me if I'm wrong. JP Estrella out again against Illinois,
No, he was out there.
or he played.
Yeah, he
Okay,
played. He
I don't know.
played how many
It's
minutes
just,
did he? He was out there.
this team is soft, in my opinion. There's a few guys that doesn't apply to. I'm not saying everyone is, but as a whole, this team's just soft. And I don't know if it because on paper it's one of the most talented teams we've had. Like we had some dogs that had to prove themselves. I don't know. I think as the year goes on, Nate Ament's going to get better. But I'm just going to give my honest opinion. He has been underwhelming so far. I mean, he goes up for a layup, and if there's any ounce of contact, you can forget about it. It's not going in. It's weird because every once in a while he'll look timid,
Yeah.
but then if things aren't going our way, he's like, "Oh well, I've got to go get a bucket," and he becomes a black hole and makes a mistake. Which he's 18. I mean, that's going to happen from time to time. But he's really good against teams that are inferior to us, and he's not good when you play somebody equal or better. And that's going to have to change because our next game's against Louisville. You have a couple BS games after that, and then you're straight into conference play. And if this team don't do some soul searching over the next 3 weeks or so, it could be a long year. And Barnes has said that multiple times. Um, Somebody was asking him, one of the reporters after the game last night. They said, "Coach, you got 10 straight days off without a game, a lot more time to practice. How you feel about it?" He said, "I don't want 10 straight days of practice. So I want to play a game." He said, "We're great in practice." And Bishop Boswell was sitting next to him. He said, "Bishop, why are we good in practice?" Boswell said, "Well, it's because we actually practice hard. We haven't been playing hard in the games." He goes, "Yeah, you're right. I'll give you that." He said, "But," and I'm paraphrasing, he said, "I'm out there holding y'all's hand in practice." He said, "And if they gave me 10 timeouts per half, we'd probably be a pretty good basketball team right now." And he's
He,
attacking the leadership.
yeah, he said, I think his exact quote was, if they gave me 10 timeouts, we would have won that game versus Illinois.
Yeah, it's true.
And it
Like,
was true. I mean, so who was it last night? I think I was watching with Slagle and Grubb, and Slagle's like, got to call timeout here. And I said, he just called a timeout. He's only got two left. And this was with like 6 or 7 minutes to go in the game. I said, and these coaches got to think now about replay because if you want to replay, you got to have a timeout. And if you lose the replay, you lose the timeout. So, it's like he can't just keep calling timeouts, and people bitch at him all the time for not calling timeouts. He actually did last night, and it didn't work. So, I don't, you're right. This team is, I didn't think of the word soft to talk about them, but, we were talking last night. Like, they're not. Barnes said this at the start after the Duke game. He said, "We're not as physical as we should be, but that will change. I'll assure you of that." Well, it's not changed yet. Um, they rebounded the ball really well last night. I'm looking here. Tennessee had, where's the box score at? Tennessee out rebounded in the first half. I think they out rebounded Illinois 25-11. Where's the rebounds at, Harb? Bench points, Tennessee won that battle 24-13. Second chance points, Tennessee won that 22-15. Um, Points in the paint, Tennessee won that by two, which isn't saying a whole lot because they lost the 3-point battle.
We had 24 bench points and scored 52 points.
Yes.
God Almighty, that's sorry.
Here was the big difference for me, and I'll get to what this leads me into my next point. Illinois was 11 of 28 from three-point range. Tennessee was 6 of 20. Going back to the rebounds real quick, Tennessee had 23 offensive rebounds compared to Illinois' 11. Tennessee out rebounded Illinois 46 to 31. I mean, we killed them on the glass, especially in the first half. But going back to the defensive thing, like this team has, Burkhart brought it up, and you can see it just watching. This team really struggles guarding on the perimeter. And last night, you saw a lot of kick out threes from Illinois. They were beating Tennessee off the dribble and dishing it out to guys. The lane was collapsing with Tennessee players on the defensive side, just leaving Illinois players just wide open. And they made Tennessee pay for it in a big way last night. 11 three-pointers compared to Tennessee's six. Tennessee also struggled at the free throw line, 8 of 18. This team just can't. They're not defending very well, or at least at the level Tennessee's used to under Rick Barnes. But they're not scoring at all. They're just like going back to that Kansas game. They have just completely, since that 15-minute mark, they've just completely vanished on the offensive end. You were talking about Ament. He played 31 minutes last night, was 4 of 14 from the field, 0 of 3 from three-point range. He had 4 rebounds and 2 turnovers and 2 assists, 9 total points. Now, Gillespie had 15, but he was 6 of 20 from the field. And Jalen Carey he played 18 minutes. I think he needs to play more than that. And he only had 5 points, but I think he missed 45 layups around the rim. Had some fantastic post moves to get open. And it couldn't make the layup. And it was just all night long. They just missed opportunity after missed opportunity. But this team just is not as good defensively as teams in the past. And statistically, they're not that far off. Ken Palm has them as the 14th best defense, 37th in offense. I can't believe they're that high on offense with the way they've played the last 2 or 3 games. I'm hoping, Harb, this is just a bad stretch of basketball they're playing. Remember that Connect team a couple years ago? They lost 3 games in a row there early in the season, and they bounced back and won the SEC. And I think there's an opportunity for Tennessee to still do that. This conference, I don't think, is as good this year. I mean, Auburn just got pulverized by Arizona last night. Kentucky's gotten pulverized 2 or 3 games in a row here. I don't think Florida, I mean, Florida's good, but I don't think they're as good as they were last year, obviously. Alabama's good, but they've got flaws. Arkansas's good. They've got flaws. I don't know who stands out in this conference. And Tennessee's right there in the mix with those teams. They showed it last night. They were up on Illinois at the half and weren't even playing that well. And it just collapsed on them in the second half because of their inability to defend the dribble drive and leaving Illinois wide open for three and their inability to put the ball in the basket. But, I mean, they're right there in that mix. I don't think we should give up on them. I don't think we should give up on Nate Amen. Somebody texted me last night. I was like, they need to sit his ass on the bench. And I was like, first off, you can't do that with somebody like him because you'll never get another 5-star in here ever again if you do that. But you said it a minute ago. I noticed his face one time in the second half. I'm not saying he looked scared to death. He looked like he has absolutely zero confidence in anything he's doing right now. He looks so unsure of himself, almost a deer in the headlights, very timid looking. And you're right. If he has any contact on him at all, he's either going to fall down or he's just getting pushed around right now. He's not shooting the ball well. It looks like he's just forcing it. I listened to Rick Barnes the other day talk about him. And it's like Nate's still trying to figure out his role on this team, and he's trying to figure out how to transition from where he was at in high school to college at this level. And Barnes is hard on these guys, and this system's hard on these guys. And if you don't grasp it early on, you're going to struggle. And I think they got to find other ways to get him involved in this offense besides just throwing it to him and asking him to create. It's not working. I don't know if that's, trying to run offense to get him the ball off, off the ball. I don't know. But whatever they're doing right now is not sinking in, not just with him, but several players. And they've got a tough game versus Louisville here in a few days. They got a week and a half off for finals. And they've got Louisville coming to Thompson Bowling, who's really good, who also lost the other day, but beat Indiana, but they've lost a game or two. But then they've got a couple cupcakes before SEC plays. But they got some soul searching to do, like you said, and they got to figure this out, or the season's going to sneak up on them in a hurry.
Yeah, you're right. Um, Best way I can put it, and I've said this a couple times today. I think I said it last night. They're just playing with no heart, in my opinion. Like, and if you're out there busting your ass and the shots ain't falling, and people are making shots on you, is what it is. But I don't know that they're gonna have to find it like mentally. I don't think it's a skill issue or anything like that. It's just I think a lot of it is these guys really aren't used to playing with each other.
I was going to say that they look like a team that hasn't played a lot of basketball together. I
Well,
mean,
they haven't.
several
And,
several
well,
of
look
those
at
Gillespie turnovers last night was like he was expecting somebody to be here and they were over there. It was one of
well,
those things.
look at Louisville last year. This time last year, we went up there and beat them by like 30,
It was
25, 30, whatever it
we
was.
put it to him.
And they looked awful. And they had a brand new roster, it was a bunch of transfers. By the end of the year, they were one of the better teams in the country because they finally gelled and figured it out, and got to playing together. And now I think they're ranked number 6.
They are.
This is I don't want to say makeshift, but it's the biggest turnover for the basketball team since Barnes has been here. And that plays a big role too. And I think they're frustrated because they know they're better and they're trying to figure it out on the fly. And eventually it will click, but it needs to be sooner than later because if it doesn't click within the first, I don't know, what would you say, 3 or 4 SEC games, and you start the season 1-3, 1-4, 2-3, it's going to diminish these guys' confidence, and you might not be able to get it back at that point. So,
Yeah, they've got Louisville coming up, who's ranked 6, and then over the holidays they've got a huge gap in games. They play the 16th versus Louisville. They got Gardner Webb on the 21st, and then they're off again until the 30th versus South Carolina State. Then SEC play starts, and you start out at Arkansas. Tough game, tough game right out of the gate. You host Texas, and then you go to Florida. That's your first 3 games. So you play John Calipari at Bud Walton. You host Texas, who's got a new coach. I don't know what they're like this year. I haven't seen them yet. And then you go to Gainesville to play the defending national champs in the first week of the season. There's no breathers in here. I'm just looking through the schedule. There's no breathers in here. Maybe Georgia. Maybe I don't know. Ole Miss is not playing well right now. They lost the other night. Mississippi State in there. I don't know. I mean, I'm not panicking or anything. It's too early to do that. But if they keep playing like this and we get into SEC play and it's still going on, I might start panicking because the expectation here at the minimum is Tennessee in the NCAA tournament, and they've got a nice win over Houston, but that's about it on their resume right now. They've lost to Kansas, they've lost to Syracuse, which isn't a terrible loss, but it's not good. The loss to Illinois was not a bad loss. I mean, Illinois is 13th in the country, but they're running out of opportunities if they're not careful to get some marquee wins to bolster their resume for the postseason. So we'll see. Harb, one last thing I wanted to address, and it's downtime for Tennessee fans. So, people arguing online and everything. I've been, I've not been on social media as much over the last few days because I've been so aggravated with our fan base. And I know it's not everybody, but I wanted to bring it up real quick. And I don't want to get long winded on it, but this fan base has, I feel like they're almost at an insufferable point right now. And I guess it's because we're not winning like we were for the past 3 or 4 years in all of our sports. I mean, it's been a rough couple weeks if you think about it. Basketball's lost three in a row. The Lady Vols don't really do anything. They struggled to beat an unranked Stanford team the other night. We lost Tony Vitello. Football's 8-4. Got blown out by Vandy. It's been a rough 2 or 3 weeks for Tennessee fans, but the online hate for Danny White, anything that guy says or does right now, he is getting hated on and shit on. And I honestly, like, I get some of it. It does look like, just looking at it from the Goodyear blimp view, it looks like he's just trying to make a bunch of money for the university, which I appreciate in a way. But I just can't imagine that they're sitting there just worried solely about making money and not winning on the field, because winning on the field translates to money. And I think they want to do both. But if you read comments online, it's not just on X, it's on message boards and everywhere. You'd think Tennessee fans want to go back to the Dave Hart, Philip Fulmer days as athletics director. I mean, look, I posted this on X today, and it's gotten some play. And I left out one, but I'll mention it here. UT Athletics since 2020. Football's 45-19, Orange Bowl win, beating Alabama twice, beating Florida 3 times. When has that happened in the last 15 years? Men's basketball's been to two Elite Eights and a Sweet 16. Baseball won two SEC championships and a national title. Softball's been to multiple College World Series in that time span. I think, is it two or three? The other golf has been good. Tennis has been, like, everything has been at not an elite level, but a very good level compared to what it had been for 15 years. I don't know what to think, Harb. Am I wrong? Like, are these people right and I'm wrong? Like, the entertainment district has been getting shit on all week by everybody. Just a couple years ago, Danny White couldn't do anything wrong, and now it seems like nobody wants him here anymore. At least the loudmouths on social media don't.
I'll say one thing. It's a good time to remind everyone that social media is not real life.
True.
And yeah, there's so much hate towards Danny White online. I haven't ran into one person in person that even begins to say some of that stuff out loud about Danny White. It's just weirdos that are just blowing off steam online. Now, I mean the
Yeah.
talent fee, like that'll get a smart ass comment every once in a while.
I
You
even make those, Harb. I told
yeah,
somebody, who was it? We were somewhere the other day, and I said, "Well, Danny White will probably charge you for doing that." I can't remember what it was, but
yeah, I do think the entertainment district's stupid, which I thought that when they announced it.
you
So
did say that. I went back and watched our video from, I think it was last year, where we did just something on the entertainment district, and you did say that.
yeah, I don't care if we'd have went 2-10 or undefeated this year. I think that's stupid. Parking is already the worst out of any SEC school I've been to, and you're gonna take parking out of.
The I don't think it's dumb. I do hate it that it's going to take parking away. The reason I'll think it's dumb, and I'll call them out for it, is if they put that there in between Neyland Stadium and Thompson Bowling Arena and they don't bring marquee events to those places, that's the stupid thing. Because it can't just be built for 7 Saturdays in the fall. I
Right.
mean, I know Tennessee basketball plays in the winter, but that's not, you're drawing 21,000, but I'm talking events like concerts, WWE pay-per-views, or big shows, not SmackDown on a Friday night in May. Um, Things like that. I'm not saying, but like concerts at Neyland Stadium, which they're doing, Banana Balls there this year, Savannah Bananas, and all that. But that's why I think it'll be stupid is if they build that and then there's nothing going on there. I mean, think about that from May to August. There's nobody on campus. The place is vacant. So they got to have stuff there to draw people into that entertainment district besides just 7 Saturdays in the fall.
I agree with
Or
that.
or a few random Saturdays or weeknights in January and February.
I agree with that. No, you have to utilize it to its full stability. I don't know. It's I can kind of feel myself getting older by the day, and I'm not a fan of it. Just not.
I'm torn on it. Like I feel like you sometimes. I'm like, is this really necessary? But then I look at it, I was like, man, this I don't think they would do it if they didn't think they would make some money off of it. I don't know. I just hate it because that's our parking spot, and who knows what will happen with our parking spot going forward. We won't know for a while, but it stirred up a lot of debate. I mean, Danny White, somebody tweeted that Vols Golf brought in the number 3 overall recruiting class, which is a big deal. Tennessee Golf bringing in the number 3 recruiting class. It's kind of a big deal in the collegiate golf world. And he retweeted it and put everything school. Just go read the comments. I mean,
Oh,
people
I
were just
did. It was so
all
funny.
over that guy. And I'm like, seriously, what is he supposed to say? I guess they want him to say nothing. That's just kind of like bugged me this week. And I kind of had to like, I was on social media on, especially on X, and I just kind of was like, last night during the game, I didn't get on at all. I just pretty much all day yesterday, I just did not get on there. A lot of idle time on people's hands in Vol Nation,
Hmm.
Vol Twitter, whatever you want to call it. So, Harb, that's all I've got for this week's show. I don't know when we'll be back. There's not much else going on. I mean, Tennessee basketball doesn't play for 9 days. Bowl game's not till December 30th, so we'll definitely be back after the bowl game. Playoffs start were announced today, so that starts here in a couple 3 weeks. I guess the big topic of that was Notre Dame didn't make it, and then they opted out of the Pop Tarts Bowl. I mean, why would Notre Dame not want to play in the Pop Tarts Bowl?
I have no idea. Like that's pretty much the most prestigious bowl these days. I
It's
would
something
love.
else.
I'd love to play in the Pop Tarts Bowl.
I would go to the Pop Tarts Bowl just because they would probably hand out free Pop Tarts to you.
Yeah.
I don't eat Pop Tarts very often, but when I do, I really enjoy them. I mean, give me the frosted blueberry or frosted strawberry. I love them, but I try to avoid them as much as I can. Gotta watch that sugar level when you get my age, Harb. All right, that's all I got. Harb, you got anything else?
I believe I'm good.
You believe you're good.
I believe so.
Are you or aren't you?
That's like God, what movie is that? Where they go to the restaurant. She said, "All right, now what don't y'all want?"
I don't know that movie.
Super, or it might be a TV show. Old waitress, middle of nowhere. He said, "What don't you want?" She said, "I've worked here for 30 years and anybody's only ordered a ribeye, bone-in ribeye." I'll have
I'll
to
have to
send
look
it
that
to
one
you.
up. I don't know that one.
I'll have to send it to you. It's funnier now.
Well, I'm gonna get off here and edit this show and put it out for the people to watch, and then I'm gonna go watch either the end of Sunday Night Football or watch the latest episode of Landman. Great show. Love Landman. And Sam Elliott's on it this year, although he was not in last week's episode, but Sam Elliott's on it.
I think I'm gonna have to jump on the bandwagon. I haven't watched it.
It's a good show. You would enjoy it. It's a Western type deal, but modern.
Or no.
Well, like Yellowstone a little bit. It's the same guy that made Yellowstone, so
Yeah.
but it's got Billy Bob Thornton in it, and he's fantastic.
I have seen a little bit of it.
A lot of great quotable lines from Billy Bob in this show, especially the first episode with him and his daughter. I'll just leave it at that. Probably
I
not appropriate to repeat
I have seen that.
it. um, Hey, appreciate everybody listening, by the way. Numbers were way up on YouTube this week. I don't know what happened. Maybe people wanted to hear us bitch and moan about losing to Vandy, but we'd really been struggling on the YouTube channel. I don't know why. We were down to about nothing, and it quadrupled this week for some reason. So thank you for those that listened. If you're back from listening from last week, welcome back. Like and subscribe. We had some new subscribers this week on the YouTube channel and on our Spotify and Apple on the streaming sites. So appreciate everybody listening there. If you're watching us, you can listen to us on Apple, Spotify, and if you can't listen to us and just want to watch us, we are on the YouTube. So be sure to check us out there. Harb, if we don't record again, I want to wish all of our listeners Merry Christmas. I mean, we will record again, but just maybe not before Christmas. But if we don't, Merry Christmas to everybody. Hey, and one thing you can do this holiday season is just JWTDG it.
Just JWTDG the damn game.
I need to get a JWTDG ornament
Oh yeah, get it in
made.
the old Vols logo,
Yeah.
Vols letters.
Or get the Vols, the VOLS on the stadium, but just turn that into JWTDG. But it doesn't match the four, obviously. But
That'd be pretty good.
um, maybe we'll make a Christmas card and send it out to everybody. I might have my staff work on that.
Our design team.
Our design, our creative design team. We had a lot of good pictures this year. A lot of good. I was looking back on some of them the other day. Good tailgate season this year. So maybe we'll send that out and put some of the memories on there. I was out in the garage the other day putting up the tailgate stuff and organizing it on the shelves so it'll sit there for the next 9 months. It kind of made me sad a little bit.
It's tough.
It's tough putting everything in storage containers and putting it on the shelf for 9 months and hope it works next year when we get it out.
We'll be back before we know it.
Oh yeah. We'll look up and it'll be July and August and we'll go, oh crap, football's here. It's time to go. But we got baseball and basketball season to get through first. So Harb, appreciate you coming on. For Harb, I'm Negative Niece. We'll see you guys next time on the Section YY8 podcast.